Hello. So today it's 26th of June 2019, and I've been running regular Ubuntu 18.04 for about 8 months, and there were some news about Ubuntu or Canonical removing the 32-bit libraries and stuff, but they not going to do it really. And then there was some controversy about Steam not supporting Ubuntu after 1910. So I thought, well, let's try Pop! OS instead. So yeah, Pop! OS, basically built on Ubuntu. Regular Ubuntu is on 18.04.2, but this is regular 18.04 LTS. And and there are two versions when you download this. There's either a Intel/AMD version and one NVIDIA version. And that means that if you have like an NVIDIA card, you can select the NVIDIA version, and the NVIDIA drivers are pre-installed. So they will be, the drivers for the graphics card is installed during the installation, which is great for me because I always had issues with regular Ubuntu. It was keeping, it kept freezing up during installation and stuff because of the Nouveau drivers, but no problems with Pop! OS. So yeah, I'm running the NVIDIA. If you have an AMD graphics card, or you're choosing the built-in on the CPU, the Intel graphics, you can select that version instead. So yeah, there's not really that much of a difference. One thing I noticed is that the graphics drivers, it's on the NVIDIA here, you see it's 418.56, and on Ubuntu I actually installed, what was it, 430.56. These are a little bit older, and one thing I could do on regular Ubuntu is to add a repository, a graphic drivers repository, so that you can get more updated versions, but you can't really do that over here. And by the way, there's no software center here, where you get the software stuff. It's called Pop Shop instead. And on regular Ubuntu you have this software and something extra, and you can add additional drivers and stuff, but that doesn't exist here. So if I want to add a PPA, I have to click here and log in, but I couldn't add the graphics drivers PPA, so I can't really update the graphics drivers myself in Pop! OS, which is a bit weird. Not all the software here is in here either. I don't remember. Yeah, Discord is not here either, so you have to download that from their website. And that's another kind of weird thing with the deb files that you download. For example, I should download Chrome, and it wanted to open the deb file in the archive manager, which is kind of weird. And also on regular Ubuntu you install the deb files with the software center, but you don't do that on Pop. You have to use Eddy, but Eddy is not the default. When you double click the deb file, it's not default. The Eddy is not default launcher. It just opens the archive manager. So you have to set that manually. That's kind of a weird thing, but so that's that. Same thing with had some issues with on the regular Ubuntu with the Intel RST, rapid storage technology, because I have 2 drives in a RAID array, and that doesn't show up on Ubuntu, but it does pop up over here. So if I go into disks, you see on Ubuntu, these are the 2 SSD. These show up in Ubuntu, but just as regular drives. But over here on Pop! OS, the actual RAID array shows up, which is nice. You can see it's my Windows installation. That's kind of a weird thing. So now it seems that the RST is now supported in POP at least. And same thing here, if you go into the files, this is just a stored drive, an extra drive that I have, and here you have the Windows RAID array. It's not mounted right now, but yeah, it's there at least. And it didn't show up in Ubuntu. Kind of a funny thing. Yeah, so I use a, if I go into tweaks here, I use Arc theme, and it was a little bit funny when I used the default sort of desktop environment for POP. When I installed this theme, it wasn't consistent. For example, I have this, the temperatures and stuff, and this window was white. Everything was dark, but this was white. Same thing with this menu, also white. So what I did was to install just a vanilla GNOME session, and it worked. The problem was these icons over here for OBS and stuff. These didn't show up, so I had to install the app indicator for this, so that the icon shows up. And same thing here, I have also installed the icons for the Ubuntu, the community theme thing. And on regular Ubuntu they renamed it, so it's called Yaru, but over here it's called Suru. Okay, so the icons looks a little bit different than the regular POP. And here's also the difference between the POP desktop environment and the vanilla GNOME. On Pop! OS, for example, the LibreOffice icons, they are grouped together. Same thing with a couple of settings here, they're also grouped together, but on vanilla they are not grouped together. So so that's that. What else? Arc theme. Yeah, LibreOffice apps, community theme. Yeah, and one thing, you can't really install the community theme through the pop shop. Normally on regular Ubuntu you go into software and you search for community theme here, but it doesn't show up anywhere. I tried it, but so you have to install the community theme through the repository. And another thing, when I was installing Chrome, Google Chrome, I opened the Firefox, and it downloads a Chrome installation file, a deb file, and Firefox didn't know what to do with it. Well, it wanted to open it in the archive manager. That's kind of a weird thing. And I thought, well, how do I install it? Because normally on Ubuntu you install deb files in the software. But on POP you have this thing called Eddy. And over here you actually just click open here and select the deb file and it will install it. And this Eddy wasn't the default sort of launcher for deb files. So I had to make that default as well. So when I double click a deb file, it will use Eddy. And you also have to right click on the deb file and select it to sort of launch as an executable thing. Oh, weird. Yeah, and also there's not really on Ubuntu, regular Ubuntu, there's a lot of snap software. Right now I only have the VLC and Notepad QQ. More and more software seem to be going towards snap, and I don't like it because the snap apps sort of launch really slow. This is a regular text editor. Sometimes it takes even longer. Same thing with VLC. So yeah, I don't like snap apps, but whatever. I kind of have to because you can't really install them through PPA. I tried to install Notepad QQ through the regular repository, and when I did that, it said, well, warning, this is kind of outdated, use snap instead. And it didn't install, so whatever. So yeah, I don't really like snap apps. What else? Yeah, one thing that I had issues with on Ubuntu, with OBS actually, and that was to capture games. And it was fixed later on with the update for OBS. And for some reason I got the same thing with OBS in POP. And if I change the profile, see here, I don't have Minecraft started here, but when I added this, normally on Windows you have a game capture here. There's no game capture on Linux, so you have to do a window capture. And when I selected Minecraft, it was just a black box like this. So, but I actually managed to fix it. So what I did here was it was all grayed out here. So when I selected Minecraft, I had to select first use alpha, less texture format, but then the colors were kind of weird. So then when I selected swap red and blue, it was normal again. So yeah, if you are on Pop OS and want to record Minecraft with OBS, make sure to select use alpha less texture format and then swap red and blue, and then you're fine. Otherwise it won't capture Minecraft at all. So that's kind of a weird thing. Otherwise, most things seems to work. I have tweaks installed, a couple of extra stuff here. It got a couple of extra extensions by default, and I installed some myself, dash to dock, and also the vitals here. One thing that I didn't got to install was actually sort of, instead of have activities here, it showed a list of software. But that extension didn't work. You couldn't install it, so I just got an error. Yeah, so here's vitals. Shows you temperature and stuff. But yeah, otherwise it seems to be working pretty normal. Or the same thing as Ubuntu. There are differences in the how you add repositories. Well, it's kind of the same if you do it in the terminal. So yeah. And of course I put links to the Arc theme and stuff like that in the video description if you want that. And I also use Segoe UI as a font. And I took that from that's the default, I think, in Windows 10. And I used the Segoe UI Regular. And I put links to that in the video description as well. So, but yeah, I will try out Pop OS, and I thought I would try out Fedora as well, but there are so many people having issues installing the NVIDIA drivers on Fedora, and so I thought, well, skip that. I like the Ubuntu flavor of things, so I will try to keep running this for a while now. So yeah, see you later.